Hi, Soul Sparklers. This is Darcy Legg, the Sassy Shaman from Darcy's Healing Touch, where my focus goes, healing energy flows. I'm so glad you're here with me today. Today, I'm going to talk about spirit guides. I'm going to tell you 3 different ways to get in touch with your spirit guides. I wanted to talk about grounding. However, my spirit guide told me I needed to talk about this. So I usually do what my spirit guide tells me. So we're talking about how to get in touch with your spirit guides, the 3 different ways. The 3 different ways that they talked about, or he talked about today, were meditation, writing questions, and through dream work. And I'll go more in depth in that in just a minute. Before I do, if you like what you hear today, please subscribe. I would appreciate it. Or share this video with somebody else. Or if you want to see future videos, you can click on the bell and you'll get future live videos from me. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. So, also, if you have any questions, go ahead and type them up in the live chat, and I would be happy to answer any questions from you. If you have any future questions, up in the chat box, I left where you could contact me in the future. It's my website, Darcy's Healing Touch. So I'm talking about spirit guides. Do any of you talk to your spirit guides right now? Do you contact your spirit guides? Let me know in that chat box. Do you hear them? Do they leave you messages? Do they leave you signs? So I'll tell you about the first time my spirit guide started contacting me, which I didn't ask for it. It kind of freaked me out. I was 40 years old and I had just gone through a divorce and I moved all the way across the country. I had quit my teaching job and moved all the way across the country. And I had a lot of anxiety, so I started meditating to kind of control the anxiety. Did not meditate to get a hold of my spirit guide, but that's what happened. So I started meditating, and probably within the first few times of meditating, I had tried meditation before. Do any of you meditate out there? I had tried meditation before independently, and it just didn't work. I had tried, this tells you how old I am. I tried a CD, the CD, and as soon as I put that CD in, I would pass out. It was like I couldn't, like within the first second of listening to it, I would fall asleep and pass out. So, for some reason, it just didn't work for me. So I ended up going to a group meditation, and through that group guided meditation, I was able to meditate, and it worked amazing. And it opened up all sorts of things for me, all sorts of sensitivities, and my spirit guide. I thought I was going bonkers, is what I thought. I thought I was going crazy because I was hearing voices in my head. I seriously thought I was going crazy. I wasn't. It was my spirit guide and all sorts of other things. So I was hearing my spirit guide, and it sounded a lot like my voice, but I knew it wasn't my voice. I knew it wasn't me because it was a little bit different. And I tried to ignore it for a long time. And eventually, I think I think it was the guy in the meditation that led the meditation, that he ended up saying something to me like, "Are you talking to your spirit guide?" Or he honed in on the fact that I knew my spirit guide, that I was hearing my spirit guide. And he was the one that I think figured out that my spirit guide was talking to me. I was listening to my spirit guide. I was hearing my spirit guide. Something along that fact. He was the one that was figuring it out and I was like, oh, that's what that voice is. And he said, yes, that's your spirit guide trying to talk to you. And I was like, oh, I thought I was going schizophrenic. That's what I thought. Seriously, I thought I was going schizophrenic. And which no offense against people who are schizophrenic. I just thought, I had a mental disorder, and I was diagnosing myself. So anyway, it kind of find out it was my spirit guide, and so once I was able to distinguish that and realize that I wasn't going crazy, it was my spirit guide, I was able to start dialoguing with him and speaking to him, and start getting information from him. So he showed up a lot of times. I was curious about what he looked like, more about him. So I asked him what he looked like, if he'd show himself, because I could hear him and I could feel him. I could hear words, talk to me just like he's standing right next to me, like anybody. I could hear everything he could say, but I couldn't see anything. So I asked him, could he show himself to me? And so he said he would, but he didn't say how he would show himself to me. And so I think within a week, he showed up in my dreams, and I knew exactly who he was. And it was like seeing my best friend. I was so happy. I think I was crying. I was so happy. It was just amazing. He looked like, his name is Jonah. He looked like this 20-year-old surfer dude. He just had hair a little bit lighter than mine. It was curly. He was just looked like this surfer dude. That's what he looked like. I knew instantly who he was in my dream. Like my best friend. That's what I see him every time I went to meditation on Wednesday nights. I would see him. He would show up before meditation. He would come and put his hand on my arm right before we would go under meditation. And then as soon as I would close my eyes, I would see him. But he would show up right before we go under. I'd feel him, and then I would see him when I would close my eyes. And he would, I would see him. That's the only time I would see him, would actually physically see him, was when during meditation. So it's nice. It's like my best friend. And he would always be on my left side, and he would always hold my hand, and then he would go take me off somewhere. So let's talk about the 3 different ways. So that's how I met my spirit guide, was through meditation. So that was the first way to connect, is through meditation. And that's how I met mine. And like I said, I didn't plan it. It just happened, and I thought I was going bonkers. And now, that was the first one. I guess, we have more than one, because Jonah was my first one that started talking to me. And then all of a sudden, all these others just started coming through and started talking to me. And it's like several started talking at once. And then they started waking me up during the night, and I couldn't sleep. And it was just crazy. And so you may have to set boundaries. And that's something nobody really told me. I had insomnia for years because I was being woken up in the middle of the night. So just to warn you, if you do try to get in touch with your spirit guides, you may have to set boundaries and tell them, don't wake me up in the middle of the night. I set boundaries and told them, because there was so many coming in, and there was just, I didn't like the fact that I couldn't see them. And there was so many different ones that I was talking to. I only allowed Jonah to talk to me. He's the only one that is allowed to talk to me. I mean, there's different ones that could come, but he's the only one that I allowed to talk to me. Like, they could come and say something, but they have to say it through him. So you can set the rules and the boundaries. And they used to wake me up at 3 o'clock in the morning every single day. It drove me insane. So I had to lay down the law on that one too. So that one was a struggle because I think for a while there they told me they were going to do it, even though I told them not to do it. And then we kind of negotiated back and forth to where, during the week they weren't, and then on weekends they were. And then I just got to where I told them I wasn't going to listen to them anymore if they were going to wake me up at 3 a.m. because it was just too much. So you can negotiate with them, and then also you can do like I do and just tell them you're not going to listen to them anymore if they don't follow your rules. I mean, it's your life. They have to live by your rules and do what you like. They can't, wake you up at 3 a.m. It's crazy. So again, if you have questions, leave it in the chat box. I'd be happy to answer any of your questions. So that was kind of, in a nutshell, what happened to me, how I met my spirit guide. He's amazing. He's like, I don't know how to describe him. He's like my best friend. I hear him. He's like right here. I hear him. Anytime I need something, he's there for me. It's just nice to have something like that. So I met him through meditation. The second way you could meet your spirit guide is through writing questions, sort of like channeling. I could do this. I learned how to do this. The best time to do this is really if you wake up really early in the morning, 3 o'clock in the morning. No, just kidding. You can do it 3 o'clock in the morning if you're an early bird, but really early in the morning before the sun comes up, before anybody else gets up, and then put on something called binaural beats and get grounded really quick. Put your feet on the floor, do some deep breathing. I put on binaural beats, and then I do questions that way, and I get in touch with my spirit guides that way. I do it on the computer, but some people do it writing just with a pen. And then I've heard online someone say use your non-dominant hand. So if you're used to writing with your right hand, switch the pen from your right hand to your left hand is what they suggest. Your non-dominant hand. And they said that if you just wait and listen, that sometimes if you just close your eyes with those binaural beats and that time of day before the sun comes up and you just listen, you'll get messages. Try it. Isn't that what the guy, Conversation with God, isn't that what he did? Something along that line? Try it. It works. And then the third way is dreams. Remember how I asked to see mine? I didn't know it was coming in a dream. I just said, I need to see you. I want to see what you look like. I honestly thought he was just going to come in an apparition. So he came in a dream. So ask to see him in a dream. Maybe they'll show up in a dream. You never know. So that's the third way of connecting to your spirit guides is through dreams. So ask them before you go to bed. Set the intention. Say, can I see you in a dream? And you never know. Maybe you'll see him in a dream that night. It'll work. You never know. Set the intention and try it. It's amazing what happens. So you have different ones. We'll talk about spirit guides. Oh, they get so excited when we talk about them. Well, I was in a seminar once, and we were going to connect with them. And in the seminar, they were explaining how we were going to connect with them. And I could hear the spirit guides above us. They were like, yay. They were so excited. They were shouting. They were so excited that we were connecting with them. I could hear them all shouting. They were just so excited that we were connecting. They get like us. They get excited. They get happy. So anyway, I get distracted. So, so we talked about the 3 ways that we could connect with them. So they're excited that you could connect with them. I'll tell you the story of my friend. I told her, just ask to connect with your spirit guide. Just ask them to connect with you. Just ask them to connect. Just tell them that you want to connect with them. And she did. I said, just ask for their name. And she did. She said, just ask for their name. And so her spirit guide wrote the name of her spirit guide's name with her hair on her sink. And it freaked her out so bad. She like asked for it to stop. So she didn't have any more contact with her spirit guide. But I mean, to me, it's just not physical. It's not that big of a deal. But she said used her hair, wrote out the name on her sink. Not when she was there. I mean, I don't know, maybe when she was like out of the bathroom or something. But I thought that was funny. So it happens. And then, I've had Jonah. I think I've had Jonah my whole life. And so he's my number one. He's my number one that contacts me. And then you'll have special ones that come and go too for special needs. Like when I started learning my shamanic practices, I had one that showed up a week before I started my school. She showed up. So you'll have special ones too. And we'll talk about that because I'm going to talk about spirit guides this whole week for the next 7 days. So if you don't have any questions, I've been on here for almost 20 minutes. Okay. We'll try to connect with those spirit guides later this week. Do a meditation. Or maybe later today if I'll get back on today. We'll see. Thank you so much for listening. And keep on sparkling.